Chude, the reason why I engaged with you at 17, as I engage with you today, is because of the wisdom. I learned things from you even at age 17. I'm still learning from you now.
Some people in this generation don't even know that I'm a founder of the Future Awards.
Future Awards. And that takes me to something else that you've pioneered, the podcast. Now podcasts are everywhere.
With Chude, and I talk about the story, the full story in my book that's coming out in April.
See, he's writing a book as well. Do you sleep? Do you sleep?
I think from young, because I did the LVLP when I was 25.
You're still young, Chude, you're 40. Hello? You're making me feel old right now. I'm 60 sitting here thinking, oh my God.
Most of us will get what we deserve in life if we don't die.
Yes, if we don't die. So keep alive.
So keep alive.
Yes.
Come for me.
Chude, you're the only one that can drag me out to do this today at the beginning of the year. It's been a good start to the year, but a very busy start to the year. But this is special.
Thank you.
So I said I'm definitely going to do it.
Thank you.
Because this is your 40th birthday coming up.
Yes.
And 25 years in this space. This crazy space. Isn't it crazy, Chude?
It is totally crazy.
But you have to love it, right?
Yes.
To be doing it. Because if not,
to
you'll be doing something else. You could be you could be 20 other things, right? But you're doing what you love. 25 years later.
Yes.
But when we now look at your journey now, you're very fond of mentoring young people, you know, and would you say it's because of how you started? Would you say that there were certain things that you saw that motivated you, that it was important that you start to mentor young people?
I absolutely think so. You know, one of my favorite things to do is to identify a young talent that is racked by self-doubt, because I was very racked by self-doubt. I always tell one of my bros is the podcaster, Timmy-san. He did a show with me recently and was saying, do you remember that when he started his career, he's like, Chude, I don't think I'm going to. I'm like, look, you're going to be a star. Like, we can talk about other things, you have other issues, but stardom
is for you.
For you. And I take delight in doing that because I remember the way people did that for me.
Yes. A young girl reached out to me and said that she'd made a documentary. And she sent me a message. Like, I don't even know how she got my number, like 5 different messages on WhatsApp. And I said, do you think that is how you should be introducing your documentary to me? That isn't the right way. You've taken the time to make this documentary. Therefore, take the time. Even at my level, if I'm reaching out to anybody around the world, I'm still going to write a proper letter with a proposal or a few PowerPoint as a pitch deck. So I think our young people need to understand that there is a process sometimes. So they can do the work, but we also have a responsibility, I think, to sometimes encourage them to say, complete that process.
I don't disagree at all. I think that that's a duty we have.
Yes.
And many times we do. You are forced to do that because maybe you meet a number of people who are like that. It's more difficult, but it's necessary. But what I've also learned, and I've had a few of these, is that and it is extremely emotionally exhausting, but if you manage to turn that young person into brilliance, they never forget. It's actually more rewarding than if you found somebody who was already made.
So it's like a rough diamond that you have to polish.
So what I found that is more emotionally exhausting, but more emotionally rewarding when the person says, and I've had people do that with me as well, for certain parts of myself that I wasn't fully formed in. Bola Atta, for one. As my editor at True Love West Africa.
I love her. She's one of my favorite people. She's a big supporter of young people. And of older people, and of women. My 2 short films, she supported me as executive producer. She's amazing.
We looked at the mail I sent to her when I was younger, and I was quite, I don't want to say rude, but then she just guided me. She said, oh, no, write the mail in this way.
And she's very good at that. She's very good at that. Let's talk a little bit about Red Media Africa, because that journey has been a journey that's brought you partly to where you are. So tell me some of the highlights of that Red Media.
No, so to the CEO, because there's a new CEO yesterday.
I love the fact that you guys succession planned. Absolutely awesome.
It's, for me, that's even the highlight of it. I'll get to that. But Red Media, I mean, again, we started Red Media when I was 19, Debola was 18, and Amelia of blessed memory was 17.
Do you guys feel like really old?
I told you, that's what I keep saying when I was young.
When you were young. I mean, you guys
Yes.
started so
early.
young.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that, there are certain highlights. I remember when we got our first job, our first paid gig.
What was that? What was that job?
Celltel.
Okay, Celltel. Oh my goodness, I remember Celltel.
Celltel, for those Gen Z,
Yeah.
Celltel was before Z-Mobile, before
Yes.
wherever they are
Yes.
now. And they had called us to handle youth marketing. Now, this is an interesting thing. We were one of those that popularized youth marketing. Because before that, youth wasn't seen as a demographic. There were no youth brand managers. But it makes sense to us. We thought, this is the fastest growing demographic.
Yeah.
And so we kept, and that's why it was difficult for us to get clients for the beginning, because we were
Nobody saw it.
Nobody saw it.
Yeah.
Nobody saw
Yeah.
it. And so when Airtel hired us for youth branding, boom. It was like our business model suddenly made sense. So that was certainly a highlight for us. I also remember when we got our first sponsor for the Future Awards, our first real sponsor for the Future Awards, it was High TV. We're given a check of 10 million for sponsorship.
Wow.
Now this was 5 years after we had started. So
So
for 6 years,
before a real sponsor came.
yes, it was individuals giving us money. You gave us some money. At this one, Yenoko gave us some money.
Yes.
And Tiobi gave us some money.
Yes.
Tony Khan gave us
Just
some
to get
money.
you guys started.
Just to get us started.
Yes.
But nobody understood what we were doing. They
yeah.
kept saying to us, make it an entertainment award.
Yeah.
And we said, no.
I think the thing sometimes is that you can be ahead of your time.
Yes.
And when you are ahead of your time, that particular leadership will not understand what you're talking about.
That's precisely.
And it can be a challenge for visionaries that are ahead of their time. And then you've kind of missed that entire segment, and then you can't catch up.
Yeah.
Because now there's a new set of people that are now probably doing those things in a different way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I started Moments with Mo, there was no social media.
Yes. Yes.
Imagine
yes.
if there was social media when I
At the
started
time,
Moments with Mo.
yes.
It would have been a totally different kettle of fish.
Absolutely.
So sometimes those things are a little bit ahead of
their time.
Yeah.
Yes. And I particularly am always in that thing. I'm always
in that thing.
I'm always in that space before people pay attention
to the space.
I'm just
so do you think there's some way in which we need to balance that? Because we shouldn't miss out on being the trailblazer of certain things, right? Because you trailblaze and then someone else takes the glory sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How does
one balance that? That's an interesting question. And also, it's like you said, because sometimes you enjoy pioneering things. You see an opportunity.
Yes, and you're like, you must do it now.
You want to go there.
Yes.
It's like you and 50.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yeah, the movie 50.
Yes,
yeah.
you remember I did the review of 50.
Exactly.
We talked about it.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
you kind of saw that this industry was about to blow up. But
Yes.
it wasn't as if the money was like there at the time.
There at the time. Yes,
But
yes. We had the massive premiere, the red carpet, and
the first of its kind.
Yeah, and
yes, and I think.
And we gave away a car as a gift.
I remember.
At 50.
I remember.
So talk about people getting gifts. I was like, I was able to convince my dear brother, Tayo Ayeni.
Yes.
I said, please, can I have a car?
Yeah.
And he gave me a car. So it was like, if you go and watch the movie 50, you could win this car.
Yes.
So I think some people must have gone to watch the movie like 1 million times. And then we put all that, then you had to give us your ticket. All the tickets went into a hat. And then we selected a winner. So, I mean, that was 10 feet. So sometimes we can be ahead of our time.
Absolutely. What I learned, I read a book, I think it was Raving Fans, that taught that what you have to do is two things. If you're building an innovative product, what element of it answers the needs of today? So that you have the space to keep building. One of the people I most respect is Warren Buffett. And he says that most of us will get what we deserve in life if we don't die.
Yes, if we don't die. So keep alive.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's that I learned later that you have to find a part of that vision that meets the market's need today. Whilst you're building for the future. Absolutely.
And
that's what we've done.
Yes, it's a bit like Ebony Life. When we started Ebony Life Television, we wanted this really young, millennial-looking channel with really beautiful, sexy-looking people speaking well. Before then, it didn't exist.
Yes.
But look at today.
That's what it all is.
That's all it is.
And many of the hosts from that time are the leading lights across the media.
Exactly. Yeah. So were we ahead of our time then? There was social media then, but it wasn't as intense as it is now.
Yeah.
So, oh God. Right.
I know this interview is supposed to be about me, but just the Ebony Life vision. And just because when you started Moments with Mo, I was I was in my teens.
17.
Yes, or
and I was like, who is this guy?
Yes. And I knew, and you share, and one of the beautiful things about you is that you've been talking to me the same way you're talking to me since I was young. You didn't talk to me as
if you were a child. Yeah.
And you shared that vision.
Chude, the reason why I engaged with you at 17, as I engage with you today, is because of the wisdom. I mean, I just instinctively, I saw the wisdom. No, it wasn't even an instinct. I could see it. I could engage with it. I could talk to you. I learned things from you even at age 17. I'm still learning from you now. So as I said, it's about the wisdom. Yeah. It's about the fact that I identified it and I saw it and I could relate to it. And there's nothing more that I love than smart people. I just love being surrounded by people that are even smarter than I am because I can learn from them. Yeah. Before Christmas, you came to my house and I was asking you all these questions about this new project that I was going to embark upon. Yes. And when you left, I said, I'm so glad we met. Because yet again, you left me with nuggets that I hadn't thought about before. And I think that's why it's important to keep engaging.
Yes.
Don't put that barrier of age there. I will engage with anyone that I think I can learn from. I don't care if you're 10, or if you're 5, or if you're 100. Let me just be able to learn. Yeah. And I hope that people can also learn a thing or two from you also. Yes. Let's talk about With Chude.
Yeah, With Chude. And I talk about the story, the full story in my book that's coming out in April.
See, he's writing a book as well. Do you sleep? Do you sleep? You're like me. No, we don't sleep. We don't get enough sleep.
I try to sleep. I sleep, actually. But I plan, but I love working. I posted
it's not work.
It's not work.
I don't see my work as my work.
Yes.
That's why sometimes I don't sleep, because I enjoy it so much.
I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
I said when I came out of NYSC, I had 5 job offers. I chose the least paying one. Why?
Because it was what you
fun.
loved. Yeah.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I cannot physically do what I no longer don't enjoy
doing.
Can't.
Absolutely.
So that's it. So with Chude, what I've learned to do though is so that we don't do too many things. I have a council of advisors. When I come up with an idea, they must say it makes sense.
Yes.
If it does, because if not,
you'll be doing 20 more things than you're doing today.
With Chude came from a unique place. I've mentioned it before. I went through a bout of depression, clinical depression in 2016. 2017, I was trending. It's amazing how good comes from bad.
I want to say something about that before we go back to With Chude. You owned up to the fact that you were dealing with this.
Yes.
Do you find at times that we're in denial about the things that we're dealing with?
Yes.
And that even if we come to terms with it, we don't want to talk about it.
Totally. Even
hide it under the carpet.
Yes.
But you have chosen to talk about it. And I really, really admire you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chude.
Thank you. I tell people I don't do shame.
Yes,
I own myself fully.
Own it, yes.
I own myself
it's part
fully.
of you.
It's part of
your story.
It's part of my story.
Part of your journey. Yeah.
So I'd come out of the depression, and this was something, it was in the same period. But I remember I was trending on Twitter. People that didn't like what I had done with the 2015 campaign. Were criticizing me for something. I was trending for 3 days. Trending for the first day, trending for the second day, trending for the third day. And I woke up and picked up my phone. Then I was foolish. I would pick up my phone and go on social media first thing in the morning. Now I no longer do that. Yeah. But I picked up my phone. I was training for the 3rd day, so the 4th day. So I broke down in tears. And I called one of my colleagues who still works with me, Remy, and I said, why do they hate me so much?
Oh, God.
And he gave me an intellectual, strategic answer. But that wasn't what I was looking for because I was hurt.
Yes.
So I went.
It's natural to hurt.
It's natural to be hurt, especially when you
think you've done the right thing.
When you think you've done the right thing.
Yeah.
So I went on YouTube and I typed in what to do when people hate you.
Wow. Heavy. Okay. Did YouTube give you an answer?
The YouTube gave me a number of options.
Oh, wow.
But then I saw an interview between Oprah and Brené Brown.
Okay.
The researcher and the author of Brené Brown. And we're talking about a TED Talk, her viral TED Talk about shame and vulnerability. After she did it, people began to attack her for being overweight. And this was her first major media event. She didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And we're talking about how if you're in the arena, you must be ready for this.
You have to be.
Without losing your
without
ability
losing it.
to feel.
Yeah.
And this was on Super Soul Sunday. And this was 5 minutes or 6 minutes. And it healed me.
Yeah.
I'd always been a fan of Oprah, but Super Soul Sunday is what made me a super fan. And this conversation, and this is the aim of the show. The aim of the show is to have conversations that heal people. So Oprah is recording in Chicago or wherever.
Yes. Well, here you are.
Here in Lagos being healed.
Absolutely.
And I said to myself, I'm going to do a show like this.
Provide a platform for people that need to share, people that need to heal.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I said, but I wanted to do it for Africans. Africans in Africa or across the world.